over 44 million adults are considered functionally illiterate. They're unable to even read a simple story to their children. But few Jackson citizens realize that we are experiencing our own literacy crisis. Not just the country, but this state, this county, this city. One out of 7 adults in Madison County is functionally illiterate. I mean, gosh, just imagine what that means. Imagine someone who can't read trying to fill out a job application, or even something as simple as reading a children's book to a child or a grandchild.
Who struggle to even do the simplest tasks that we take for granted. Things like reading schedules, or reading the newspaper, or reading a website.
The impacts of the inability to read are widespread. It's proven that the inability to read leads to a higher rate of dropouts. A higher rate of dropouts leads to a higher rate of people incarcerated, and a higher rate of incarcerated people leads to higher rates of poverty.
Literacy is really the key to understanding all content and to be critical thinkers and lifelong learners.
Faith and reason are locked at the hip. So you get down on your knees and you pray. You're inspired in faith to seek a higher education. Whatever it is, when you finish your prayer and you're inspired by faith to accomplish that thing which you've been inspired to do, it will take reason. And one of the primary means that we learn to think and to reason is by reading.
The fact is, you don't become an adult and then become functionally illiterate. Before you were an adult, you were a child. And 62% of the kids right here in our community are reading behind grade level.
Studies show that if a child isn't on grade level by 3rd grade, that's going to impact their educational performance all the way through the end of high school and on into adulthood.
A 3rd grader reading behind grade level who is from a low-income home is 13 times more likely to drop out of school before graduating high school.
The window to help a child build that foundation to read and to be a lifelong reader is extremely small.
And the impact of that is that if we don't do something now, if we don't intervene, if we don't make a difference in these children's lives, then they will move into adulthood functionally illiterate. And all of the problems that we talk about in terms of functional illiteracy for adults is visited upon them.
These children are not strangers to us. They are in every one of our classrooms. They are in our churches. They're in the playgrounds across the street, and they could very easily be our own children.
In order to be able to uplift a community, an entire community, it's very important that the literacy level across Jackson and Madison County is improved.
Literacy definitely has an economic impact. The more we do to improve literacy in Jackson, Madison County, the more successful we're going to be at recruiting the high-paying jobs that this community and this region deserves. We have people running towards that problem. We have various organizations, churches, nonprofits that have programs in school that are trying to address this issue.
Now, the Star Center is a nonprofit that's been in Jackson since 1988. Our mission is to help any person with any disability to realize their potential. The Star Center's role in literacy goes back 28 years.
The Literacy Lab is a non-intimidating environment where children come each week not only to boost their reading skills, but also to boost their confidence.
When children are referred to the Star Center Learning Lab, we meet with their parents and with the child and discuss what specifically is not working for you in school. Then we do a diagnostic test, and the diagnostic test will break it down for us and let us know where the exact weakness is. And then we can help the child pinpoint and work exactly on the skill that he needs the most.
We use technology to leverage individualized instruction, and if barriers pop up, a trained literacy specialist is there to walk with the student through that challenge.
So I have a son, his name is David, and he's 10 years old now, and we started coming to the Star Center when he was 7. And he started coming here because he was having trouble with reading. They immediately tested him to see where he stands as far as what reading level he was at. And it was never, this is not possible. It was always, let's go. And now 2.5 years later, he's at reading level and he feels confident, and that is what the Star Center has given him.
Houston Atkins is my grandson. He's 7 years old. He first started coming when he was a little over 5. Well, we had got some reports from the school that maybe his reading wasn't what it should be. So we came in, did the assessments. So the learning lab kind of took him at progressive steps, learned him to read, and whenever he got to a part that he didn't like, people in the learning lab worked with him real close. And then all of a sudden he went from shying away from reading to loving to read. If it wasn't for the Star Center, he never would have got that help. And I wish more kids could do it, because a lot of times people don't realize if a child can't read or don't understand, they get frustrated, they act out.
We see kids that came in a month ago, 2 months ago, 6 months ago at this level, and they're improving. They're gaining confidence, they're participating in class more often. We're getting feedback from parents that they're reading because they want to at home. And so the needle is moving. We're graduating kids out of the program that are at grade level.
The most rewarding thing I get to do here is see kids develop those skills that they didn't think they could manage.
You know, for 28 years, we've been helping kids learn how to read. We have no intentions of slowing down. As a matter of fact, I wake up every day knowing that there's another child out there that hasn't been introduced to the technology that we have here. I hope that bothers you as much as it does me. The facts are we have about 50% of our kids that require some type of financial support. Will you stand in the gap for them? Will you invest in their ability to read? We're counting on you. We can't do it without you, and I promise you, we're going to give it all we've got.